any card is selected. In this case, we will go for this one, which is the 3 of clubs. You take the 3, you lose it fairly in the center. The spectator can even be involved at this point. And then you explain that you're going to find the card with your mouth. So 3 of clubs, finding it with the mouth. This is a little bit weird, I apologize. You see actually inside my mouth the 3 of clubs. This is the Mercury Fold. Something I regret from one of my videos a long time ago was teaching this exact move in nowhere near enough detail. I taught it as part of this video where I taught a bunch of tricks in a time limit, and I sort of rushed through the Mercury Fold, and a lot of people in the comments were saying, that was really good, I didn't know about the Mercury Fold, so I wanted to return to it in its own video and give it the justice that it needs. I showed you the mouth variation, but there are so many variations, I'll cover them in a second. So you have a card selected, or it can be part of a trick. It really doesn't matter. Now, I am using Jerry's Nuggets. I apologize if this hurts people because ruining Jerry's Nuggets, yeah, it's a bit of a no-no. But I would recommend performing this with the cheapest cards possible, because when you're learning this trick, you're gonna go through a lot of cards. Just a warning, if you don't like ruining cards, this is not the trick to practice. You should be going through deck after deck after deck practicing this. That's the only way of doing it, I'm so sorry. So yeah, once you've got it down, you can start using your nice decks, because decks are for using. So you take a card, any card, just select or have a spectator pick a card. And now you want this card to be either controlled to the top or the bottom, it really doesn't matter, but you want it on either end. I'm gonna go for the top, I'll show you why in a second, and I'm actually going to turn the deck face up so that it technically is the bottom of the deck, but it's the wrong way round. So, once it's like this, the technique you're going to do is have your thumb at the back of the deck like so, and your fingers here, but then your other free hand is going to carry this card down. You can see how it's bending the card right down to the thumb, and that's going to be the first fold. From underneath, it looks like this. You're in end grip or biddle grip, whatever you want to call it, thumb at the back of the deck. This hand is going to apply pressure to the top of this card, and you'll see that it starts to drag, and it's going to go all the way to the thumb, which makes the first fold like so. This is relatively easy. The better you get at this, the quicker it will be, but don't worry about speed for the time being, because that will just come with practice. So you hold it like so, you drag this card down, and if you're struggling to get a grip on this card, like I was just then, just make sure that the deck is beveled like so, just so that there is a little bit of air between that card and the deck. So it carries all the way down, it just pushes down, and then you're slightly going to readjust your grip. So once you've done that, you can actually start to apply that second fold, because there's only 2 folds, remember, although it sort of looks like 4, there's only 2 folds. As you're doing that, this hand is turning to grip the rest of the deck, and you'll notice that it's not quite folded, so I can now use this hand to apparently just pinch the deck to go into either that variation or just to hold the deck like this, which is a relatively normal thing to do. But as you do that, your thumb is going to squeeze down on the card and really crease, really sort of make those bends into creases, into actual folds. So once again, I'll do it at full speed so that it looks like this. And you can, I've seen you can score cards, so you don't cut them, but you just sort of scratch lightly with a thin blade. Again, I do not recommend this because I can't be held accountable if you cut your hand off, but you can score a card to make it much easier to fold. Personally, it's a bit too much effort, and this is fine. So if you end up with a slightly imperfect fold, do not worry whatsoever. So once again, you push and you push as you readjust, and it just looks like your hands are slightly readjusting themselves on the deck, like you're slightly re-gripping the pack in a different way, and you end up with a folded card. If you have the deck the other way round with a face card on the bottom, in this case the Jack of Diamonds, once again I bevel just to make sure that it's definitely going to fold in the correct way. When you do this, you end up with a card that is folded in quarters, but the face is on the outside, which for me slightly sort of ruins the reveal. I much prefer it if the card is like this, because there is just that extra building of tension where they're not sure if it's their card or not. Obviously, in the back of their mind, it will be because you're a magician, but it just sort of delays the reveal and you get this lovely moment where you actually have to unfold it, and you can make that seem a little bit more difficult than it actually is. You actually have to manually unfold it or get them to unfold it, which is even better, and then they actually discover the magic themselves by having to do some work and unfold it, and it is their card. I much prefer that to this, but again, that's just personal preference. It feels weird that the camera's down here. I feel like I'm talking to someone very low down. But this, I don't prefer this, but it is entirely up to you which version you do. So once again, once you have that card folded, in fact, I'm not going to ruin another card, I'll just pretend this is the card that I folded. Once I have that card folded and it's underneath the deck, I can come up to my mouth, and when I did the mouth variation, all I do is as soon as the deck is here, I'm just going to push this card with my thumb up into my mouth. Then I do the whole pretense of finding it with the spread and plucking one card out with my mouth that isn't folded. Obviously it's the wrong card. You get that sort of confusion, and then you get the reveal when you actually have a folded card inside your mouth. It's not a moment of how did it get there, because obviously somehow it got there when the deck went to your mouth. That's not the mystery. The mystery is, how the hell did you fold it up and put it inside your mouth without me noticing? If you don't like the mouth variation, as soon as you have that card folded underneath the pack, well, it's the perfect size to finger palm. All I need to do is take the deck and drop this hand to my side, and that folded card can then be put in my pocket, it can be loaded into somewhere completely secret, or you can do a switch. So at this point, the fold has been executed, the deck is on top, I put the deck to one side, I allow this hand just to drop very casually to my side, and I completely ignore it. Remember, never look at the hand where you're hiding something, because you're telling your audience there's something secret there. So just look at the things that you normally would. If I'm putting the deck down, I'm looking at the deck, not this hand which is empty in their minds. So now this is just at the side, and I can draw attention to the folded card that has been on the table since the beginning, and I can have pointed this out at the beginning. There is a folded card right here, we'll come to it later. Now I pick it up and I can hold it very fairly in an open hand. I can say, look, this card has been here the entire time. And the best part is, if we unfold it, this is your card. What a moment. This requires obviously just a little bit of extra sleight of hand and of course 2 folded cards. So this one right here is just a double backer, or it doesn't matter what this card is, it can be anything, a blank card, just so that you definitely don't get them mixed up. So that's on the table from the start. I pick it up, I hold it, and all I'm going to do is a switch, which looks a little bit like this. So I just tip with one hand, obviously this is just here, I tip, I hold onto it with my fingers like so, and at full speed, it just looks like that. It just looks like you're tipping a signed folded card out and unfolding it. They're never going to think that you switched it at that moment. If you do it casually, if you do it at the right speed. The Mercury Fold is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. If you want to use a gimmicked box or paper clipped by Jay Sankey or whatever it is, there are hundreds of options out there of impossible boxes and all sorts. Personally, I don't go in for those because they just look a little bit too magic shop most of the time, and I don't like that. I'd much prefer something natural. Loading it into a pocket, that is so normal because people have pockets. People don't tend to carry around weird magic red boxes, you know, it's just not for me, that sort of thing. But that is the Mercury Fold. I really hope you enjoyed this. This is, this is something that I've performed a lot, and I think is a gem of magic. So there we have it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to click the thumbs up button down below. That massively helps me out. And if you are a viewer of this channel and you enjoy the content, if you like anything to do with magic, feel free to subscribe. It is completely free, and if you hate me later down the line, you can always unsubscribe. And also, if you want to become a member of the Magician Club, which is my membership for magicians that's just $5 a month, there are currently more than 60 tutorials available on the Magician Club, And I'm going to be talking about the Mercury Fold and some extra tricks and techniques that you can do with it over on there. So if you enjoyed this video and you want the extended material, that plus a load of other things, like I say, a 230-page magic book, it's all available for $5 on themagician.club, link down in the description. All right, I think that's everything. I will see you very soon for more videos. Until then, take care.
No, it's not.
Fold it up inside.